Hello, good morning. This is the Sussex Summer Physics Info Session for UCEAP for summer 2025. Today we're joined by our colleagues at the University of Sussex, and they're going to go ahead and give us a presentation about what to expect in the summer program 2025.
Thank you. So good morning, good evening. It's good evening for us. Thank you for coming for the session. So as was explained, go back to the presentation is on the physics undergraduate summer school program. And what we'll be doing over the next 30 minutes is talking through the key information you need to know about the program. I've got my colleagues here, Meg, who will be checking the chat in case there's any questions come through that, and also Dr. Jackie Grant, who's with us from the physics school, where she'll also be presenting some information about the academic program. So this is a general overview. So we'll be talking about our location and our campus, the housing and facilities, some information about the student life and the social program we run. Then I'll pass over to Jackie to talk through a little bit of information about the physics program, key dates and next steps, and then also how you might connect with the team and have further points. So this is intended to give you an overview and obviously the starting point for you to researching whether the program is right and what you need to know next. So just briefly, this is the team. So myself, Jackie is here, Jane is here, and Meg is here as well. So everyone, so we are, even though there's a much bigger team here over the summer, we work with summer coordinators, which are Sussex students, and a whole range of other staff, including faculty, obviously. But the core people that you will be hopefully familiar with, are the four people on the screen now. So okay, so just a little bit about our location, and this is something that we certainly know is a draw for the students who are interested of coming to Sussex. So for those of you that may or may not know the UK, and you may know a little bit, but what you're seeing there is a map with the, well, you've Dublin for Ireland, obviously the capital, and then you've got the four capital cities of the UK nation. So Belfast for Northern Ireland, Edinburgh, Scotland, Cardiff, Wales, and then London for England. We are located in Brighton, so right on the south of the map. You will see we are Seaside University. And located about 30 minutes from Gatwick. One of the big draws we know from the students when they come on the physics program is they're often either traveling by train or air to our European neighbours. So as you can see, the locations here, it's Edinburgh, an hour and a half by plane, Belfast, an hour and a half, Brussels, an hour flight. So we're closer to Brussels than we are to Belfast. But there's Paris, Amsterdam. So Gatwick Airport is our nearest airport. That's about 30 minutes away from the campus. But Heathrow, which is the main international airport, which a lot of people do fly into, is about a 2-hour train ride from Sussex. So very well connected and lots to do in spare time. So. Now, this picture here is the Sussex campus. Some key information really about the university. We have 6 Nobel Prize winning alumni. The most recent one was actually this year, and for physics. Geoffrey Hinton, who was a student with us and got the Nobel Prize in physics for artificial neural networks. I won't talk about artificial neural networks because that's not my area of expertise, but I'll let Jackie cover that. We are first in the world for development studies and have been for about the past 7 years across any university. We have what's called the Research Excellence Framework, which takes place every 4 years and assesses the quality of our research. And the last one that took place in 2021, 89% of our research was rated world leading or internationally excellent. And we typically have around 17,000 students from around 100 countries, so a very international university. Again, this is the map of the campus. We are a mid-sized university, I would say, but quite compact. You'll see the train station at the bottom. That goes directly into Brighton, about 5 minutes by train. But we are a campus country campus just outside Brighton, and we are the only university in the UK which is surrounded by a national park. So for those of you like the outdoors and green spaces, it completely surrounds us. It's a very beautiful area, the South Downs National Park. The campus itself is very green, and the areas you're seeing located on the map, right slap bang in the middle is physics teaching. So that's with the where your teaching would take place. And to the top, just above it to the right, is Eastlet Residence. That's where you would live. So it's around a 5-minute walk, depending on how quickly you walk, but it's about a 5-minute walk from accommodation to the teaching space. Again, around 5 minutes from that to the left is the main canteen, where you can buy breakfast, lunch, evening meal. Library is on there. Sports complex is to the far right. And there are obviously many other places. You will be cafes and bars on that campus, but those are some of the key areas that you need to be aware of. But all very compact and very easy to get around in terms of the campus space. Campus facilities, library, cafe, chemist, all of them are open over the summer, so there's no change. I mean, there are typically less students in the summer because many of them have left, but all the facilities you see here are still available over the summer. Now, for the housing, as you would have seen on the map, it's called Eastlet Residence. It's very central. I think it's one of our most modern accommodation. Single occupancy rooms, so we don't share rooms. You have a single room, either shared bathrooms or there are lots of the accommodation has ensuite, so you have your own bathroom connected to your room. Within one flat, where you typically have around 6 or 7 bedrooms, there's a shared kitchen, and you have a catering pack for that. So if you don't want to buy your own food out, you want to cook your own food, it's all there available for you in your accommodation. We also supply a bedding pack. There is a 24-hour reception desk and also some social space, including sofas, pool table, TVs, and so forth. So space to relax and share in the actual housing. The social program that is included within the entire program there's quite a lot going on. It's all optional. You do not have to take part in any of this if you don't wish to, if you want to do your own things. But we certainly beginning have an arrivals weekend where we will get you settled. There'll be tours of the campus, tours of Brighton, various events during Welcome Week to get you settled in meeting and mixing with other students. Every Friday, we run weekly trips. Now, teaching is Monday to Thursday. We don't teach on a Friday, but what we do on a Friday is offer Friday trips. So that's taking you to local historical, cultural sites of interest, castles, coasts, and more. So lots to see in the local area. We've also next year added in a London weekend trip, 2 nights with a hotel and breakfast, visits, top attractions, tours, and some free time to explore in the capital city. And you finish at Windsor Castle, home of the royal family. So that is not included within the program. That is in addition to the program. So if you wanted to do that, you would need to book separately, but it is something we know that students want to do and are doing separately. So we decided to put on a trip next year. Information will be released after you apply. You also receive a gold gym pass, which gives you full access to all of the classes and the gym itself. So morning yoga and morning runs through to fitness classes and everything else in between. But that gives you full access to use free of charge. And they also run a farewell barbecue party as well before you leave. And finally, before I pass over to Jackie to talk about the academic program, just to highlight that we've partnered with an organization called Going Connect. When you apply and you're accepted, we'll give you access to the Go In platform, and that allows you to start connecting and meeting and chatting with students in advance of arriving. So we advertise all our social events, all the activities. We do know that students create groups like book clubs and all manner of things. It's a really great resource. We had the first year we ran it this in 2024, and there's some fantastic feedback. So that will continue, and you'll be given access to that platform before you arrive. So it helps you get settled and learn more about your experience before you arrive. More to come on that, but now I'm going to pass over to Jackie.
Thanks, Ian, and yeah, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So my name's Jackie Grant. I'm a senior teaching fellow in the physics department at the University of Sussex. I'm the lead convener for the programme, and I work closely with Ian, Meg and Jane, planning the programme through the year. And although this webinar mostly focuses on practicalities, travelling, housing, we wanted to talk a little bit about the academic aspects of the programme, but we will also be signposting to future webinars that focus in more depth about the academic aspects. So it is an intensive programme, but the key message that we want to get across is that we really want people to succeed on this programme. If people are choosing to take intensive compressed physics over their summer, they're doing so because they want to succeed. And we are kind of all geared up and have been for over 20 years to helping people on that journey. It is intensive challenge. We have a team of really experienced senior physics faculty. I'm one of those. I'm one of the lecturers, and that whole team has been teaching kind of for many years. Sussex has a strong history of interdisciplinary work. Many of our physics faculty work at the crossover between life sciences, medicine and physics, and being at the forefront of bio nanomaterials, quantum medical imaging. As part of the academic programme, you will be seeing and visiting those labs and talking to those researchers. So the programme is compressed. It's a year of physics material in 8 weeks. So it's a challenge, but what we do is we start out, we want to build your confidence so you can tackle the problems and the problem solving. So we have big emphasis on small group work, interactive engagement, peer learning, and we consider that we're all kind of learning together, the ATs, the faculty, you, kind of to explore the material. We have workshops twice a week, and there are around 10 students per teaching assistant for those workshops. And those work through in discussion groups, a series of problem sets that we've set in advance. And then in the labs, which are also twice a week, you work in pairs. There's one AT for each 4 pairs of students. So again, large staff to student ratio, around 8 to 10 students per AT. Now, the image on the lower part of this slide actually shows 2 physics students in an assessed lab. They're measuring the charge on an electron. They're writing up their analysis. And this is an experiment which at the time also won a Nobel Prize. And then the picture above that, because the students in the lower picture look quite focused, they're about to hand in their work. The students in the photo above are actually at the pre-lab demos. And those pre-lab demos are where you kind of meet staff, meet the ATs, and talk about the concepts that underpin the programme. Yes, I've already said a lot of focus on conceptual understanding, small group classes, but you know, of course, it would be naive of me to say there aren't some students who struggle. Because it is challenging, but we've had 20 years of experience of running it. And so we've built loads of support structures around that to keep people on track. We run office hours, physics forum twice a day, catch-up lectures. We have one-to-one meetings. We really, really want people to come out of this program with what they want when they go in. And so sometimes people feel a bit overwhelmed in the first 2 weeks, but we reach out to us, we get everyone on track, and kind of hopefully people come out sailing with the outcome they want. Finally, on this slide, we provide all the materials. Just as Ian was explaining, we want everybody, we've got all the structures in place, we focus on physics, and then hopefully have a good time as well. Okay, so the next slide is sorry, Meg, can you do the next slide? The next slide is a sample timetable. So in the mornings, twice a week, you'll have the lab group, and those are 3.5 hours. And each lab, you do a new experiment, and it might be meeting new material, but it's all in the lab book for you to prepare and come to that lab with all the conceptual information. Then you hand your lab book in at the end of the lab, and it's marked and returned with directed feedback within 2 days. And that makes up 25% of the credit. Then in the afternoon, there's a 2-hour lectures. That will be with me. We do quizzes, example problems, question and answer session, and I think they're fun, but I think physics is fun. Yeah. And then the next day you have a workshop where you kind of review the concepts, work on practice problems in small group sizes, and then another lecture, and then the lab. And it cycles through the whole 8 weeks, Monday to Thursday, with Friday off, apart from 2 days where you have midterm exams. Yeah, so that's kind of a very short summary, hopefully useful, of how the physics program works. Any questions I can pick up in the chat, and I'll hand back over to Ian. Thanks.
Thanks, Jackie. Yes, yeah, again, just to highlight that we are going at speed through quite a lot of information, just so you can see the highlights and engage with the information. But there are plenty of other opportunities throughout the year between now and maybe when you apply, that you can either contact us or collect more information, and I'll be talking a little bit about that towards the end. So it says November onwards. So obviously your application would initially be going through UCEAP. In terms of applying to the physics program at Sussex, we would typically receive a nomination list of those that are successful through UCEAP. And we would then ask the same students to submit another application, which is a Sussex application, but that is really just to get you onto the system, to make sure that you're registered, you have access to the library, and you're all ready to go. So that's more of a kind of a process. So there's a further applications. It's quite straightforward. Then March, April, and May, we run a series of pre-arrival webinars that focus on, first of all, on the academic preparation. So really going into some detail about what to think about, what to prepare. So that's things like the reasonable adjustments or accommodation. It's about what to think about, how you might approach the program. So it's targeted information or a preparation session on the academic side in March. And that's led by Jackie and faculty primarily. Then in April, we have a program preparation session. That is really the wraparound things. So that is kind of how to prepare for your arrival on the program, and that could be lots of other things that come into it, as well as academic parts to that, but that's more a preparation session. And then in May, there's a pre-arrival webinar, which is that pre-departure information, and that's really the detail. So that's everything from how do I travel, and how do I get from Heathrow, and do I need to bring a hairdryer, or everything in between. But those 3 sessions are designed there to take you through to the point where you know where you are, what you need to bring, and you're ready to go, essentially. 28th, 29th of June is the welcome weekend. When you arrive, move into accommodation. Session 1 begins on the 30th of June. The 25th to 28th of July is a 4-day weekend, and that is typically where every student seems to disappear off campus and go to many places in a very short amount of time. We're always quite impressed with how much is done in those 4 days, believe me. But that's a 4-day weekend break, and then you go into session 2 on the 28th of July. End of classes 22nd of August, and then you vacate accommodation to either return to the US or go on further traveling. I'm not sure, but that's the end of the program. So I will be visiting campuses next week. Now, this obviously isn't every campus, but I will be attending the UCI Irvine Fair on the 18th of November. So if there are any Irvine students here, then I'll be around on that. And there's also the next following day, there is a summer physics info session attended by the 3 institutions that deliver the physics program. So there is Sussex, but there's also Glasgow, and there's also Dublin as well. So all 3 of us will be at the fair and also at the presentation. I will then be at Santa Barbara on the 20th of November for a summer physics info session, the 21st at UCEAP, and then on the 22nd of November at Santa Cruz. So if any students here are any of those institutions, please do come along, introduce yourself, and I can provide further information at those events. This is for if you want to follow us on Instagram. So please, you can take a picture of that or follow up afterwards, but that's following us on Instagram. We are planning a further session, which is more a program information and Q&A session. We thought it'd be quite nice, especially for those students that I will be meeting at the UC campuses next week. And for those that may be here now, we'll be doing a further session. That's on Thursday, the 5th of December, really kind of a Q&A, a rather informal session. We won't be delivering this presentation again, but a chance for people just to ask some questions, but we thought that might be helpful. So we'll be, and you can scan the QR code to register your place for that. But yeah, so that will be available. And this is a video which is specifically for physics, and is the students you will see on this are the physics students that attended. So maybe we could play that now. Oh, if there's sound. Is there an issue with the video?
Apologies. Can you not hear the sound?
No.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I could hear it, and then every time I was clicking, the screen was pausing, so I thought I was interrupting your audio. If I unshare and reshare again, I can make sure that the audio is there. Bear with me one moment. Sorry, everybody.
Think, Jackie, you've put the because the video that we're referring to here is on the web page, isn't it?
Yes, I've just put the link in the
Yeah.
chat to the UCAP page with both the videos on and kind of more information about that.
Apologies, everyone. I'm trying to
Yeah.
click the button here, but it's actually blanked out for me. So perhaps I've got a permissions error. Very sorry about that. But we can share this video and more, which we also have on the UCEAP website following the webinar.
Yeah.
Apologies about that, everyone.
Okay. It always tends to happen with video content on these presentations. So I wondered if there was just a final few minutes, and maybe colleagues at UCAP, if there's any any questions from any of the attendees, or anything you would like us to talk about in the final few minutes that we may not have covered?
So if I can just say, Ian, we have had a question that someone's put in the Q&A, and I can take that if you want now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the question was, for someone with no background in physics, is it difficult to succeed in this program? And I can say a couple of things about that. First of all, the program's designed for people with no prior physics. We do expect people to have some prerequisites in maths because it is a calculus-based course. But we've really thought about the fact that the students are coming new to physics, sometimes from life sciences, but not always. And we've kind of structured it so that, yeah, we think it's achievable for people with no prior physics and kind of a good grasp of maths. And what we mean by that is we've got some maths resources that we can send around for people to just check how their algebra and their trigonometry is. But I say, yeah, if you've got no prior physics and you want to do this, kind of grab it and go for it. Stay in touch with us, ask us all those questions and come out the other side. And then you will definitely be someone with a background in physics. I hope that answers the question. Any more questions, please post in the Q&A or in the chat.
This is Bonnie from the UC Irvine campus. I also wanted to add on there that some students in the past have also expressed that it was nice to be able to just focus on physics while they were abroad, not to have to also balance out, okay, they're doing physics while they're doing another upper division course in English and this and all of that. So for some students, it has actually been beneficial to just be in a physics mindset the entire time in the summer.
I haven't checked the chat. I don't know if there's any more.
There's another question for Jackie, I think. Oh.
So the question is calculus a fundamental position on this course? So I mean, it's not a course on calculus, it's a course on physics, and physics uses differentiation and integration in it. We're not going to be expecting to test you rigorously on calculus, on differentiation, but we do weave it in, and the textbook that we provide has within the appendix a few short exercises to help people catch up on their calculus if it's been a while since they've done it. Okay, loads more questions now. This is great. A question about visa, question about the pricings, and a question about the pacing. I'm happy to talk about the pacing. Is anyone able to pick up the other questions, or?
Maybe go ahead with the pacing.
Okay, I'll pick up the pacing question, and then the other two questions we can,
Yes.
I guess, email round or send round links. So, I mean, the pacings of the session, you are doing 100% physics all the time, as Bonnie said. So it's fast paced because you do a year's worth of material in 8 weeks. And what we do at the beginning is we focus on the core concepts that are going to allow you to build as you go through the program. So sometimes it can be a bit of it's a little bit of a shock, but we're there to get you through that. And we've planned it so that there's enough time for you to do the study in between. We have these lots of very small little assessments for you to check how you're going as you go along. We've got our ATs who are either recent graduates or final year graduates who are there to kind of, they've just done their exams, they've been studying, and they can kind of remind you what it's like when you're learning something new. We also have study skills sessions as well to kind of keep you, so it's challenging, but it's definitely manageable. Hope that answers the question. Okay, so so the two more, I can see UCEAP is typing the answer to the question. I'll be quiet now.
Sorry, just to add, I for some reason I can't see any questions for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Okay, I'm happy to read them. The next one is, if you are on a unique visa, is it a better idea to apply or consider the visa issues beforehand with a study abroad advisor?
Sorry, could you say the first part? I missed the first part, Bonnie.
If you are on a unique visa, is it a better idea to apply or consider the visa issues beforehand with a study abroad advisor?
I would always, I mean, with the visa, if there's any questions around that, I'd always speak in advance to make sure you check that matter out. I'm not sure of the arrangements or the details around the unique visa, so do seek advice as well. And also, you can reach out to us. We do have visa support staff here at the university, so if there's any questions, you can always reach out to us. But certainly, I would check that in advance.
And we do not have any other questions coming in. Just wait just a moment.
Just to quickly add that the question about the visa, I can pop a link in response to that question. That's basically our Summer at Sussex Study Abroad page. It's got lots of information about visa requirements when travelling to the UK. So if that gets logged, then hopefully that's helpful for other students as well. I'm just posting it right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'd like to say we'll go ahead and conclude this info session and say thank you so much to everyone in Brighton for staying late this evening and giving us this wonderful presentation. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day all. And yeah, we can send some links over to answer some of those questions as well. That's useful.
It's great. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.